Have you been finding that you are getting anxious when it comes to the idea of going back outside again after lockdown when all the restrictions get lifted again? If you are, then you're unlikely to be alone. Lots of people are describing it as post-lockdown anxiety. Hi, my name is Emma. I am a counsellor and a coach, and I help employees get their work and life back in balance. And today I'm going to be talking about post-lockdown anxiety and 6 things that you can do to make it easier for yourself when you want to venture back outside again. So let's dive straight into it. So first of all, post-lockdown anxiety. What is it? Well, basically, it's the fear or anxiety, and it may be happening now or in the near future, about going back out and venturing out again after lockdown and the restrictions have been lifted. And we have a couple of different anxieties about that, different worries and concerns. So first of all, the most obvious one is to do with health of our own, health of the people that we care about, because we don't want to get sick and we don't want to get other people sick as well, especially if we happen to know people who have either come down with the virus already and become sick from it or have unfortunately died from it. And I'm speaking from experience. I've known people who've done both. Another big part of it is all the unknowns. It's really difficult to plan it for the future at the moment. For example, I've known people who've been booking holidays and they keep getting cancelled and cancelled and cancelled transport-wise. I've been knowing people who are wondering about studying and the changes to do with university and residence and the way courses are delivered. It's all a mess at the moment. It's really difficult to predict what's going to come next. And also things like economy-wise, are our jobs going to be safe? If you've been working in leisure or hospitality or complementary therapies, any of those industries or additional ones as well where you need to be working face-to-face, hairdressers as well for an example, where physical touch is involved or close proximity, things like that are really difficult to do during the COVID pandemic. And clearly people are feeling the difference and the need to change. Those who have been working in office environments, there is the ability to work from home and work via online using things such as video conferencing. But for some people who are really not tech savvy, that's been really quite a challenge for them. There's been a really steep learning curve when it comes to things like that. So let's get straight into those 6 things that are going to help you overcome your fear of going out, your FOGO, when it comes to post-lockdown anxiety. So first thing to consider is normality as we know it. It's unlikely that we're going to go back to exactly how things were before. We've all needed to adapt and change, and there's been pros and cons to that. So for example, we may be working in different ways, we may be commuting, we may be working from home more, we may be spending more on our bills and broadband, but we're saving on commuting a lot of the time. And I for one am really appreciating not having to spend as much of my time stuck in traffic. Two, you need to be able to decide on the pace for you when it comes to starting to ease back into the world again. And a lot of that is to do with concerns about personal safety. So, for example, when I go out, I am taking my hand sanitizer, which attaches to my belt, and I am taking my mask. This is my mask. I had one of those which has the little insert in it, all washable and recyclable, because I'm big on being green. After all, there's been an awful lot of masks that have just been chucked and ended up polluting the environment, and that's not a good thing. So if you see that being done, don't tolerate that. So number 3, this is about graded exposure, and it's about being really specific about those concerns that you have. So for example, if it's going to the supermarket, what kind of things do you need to prepare in order to do that? Have a think about those specific anxiety points. What are the specific things that you're concerned about? Because if you get really specific, it's much more easy to do something about it. So address each one of these in turn. It may be that you have a concern about how to prepare for something. Go through the steps about what you think you'll need. It's very much like, for example, if you were planning a long car trip, you'd be doing the maintenance things such as checking your tyre pressure and that you've got the screen wash and the oil in your car ready so that you're not running too low on anything before you set out. You'd also be checking your brakes to make sure they're going to stop you when you need it, and possibly planning your route either using a sat nav or Google Maps, so you've got that visual there so you know what to expect when you're further along the way. If there's particular things that you need to have in place to make this generally easier to do, see what you can do for yourself or with the help of someone else to put those things in place. Number 4 is about building up slowly and factoring in what you can control. You may be concerned about, for example, what you can control versus what other people are going to do, because you can only ultimately control what you do. You can't control what other people do, and they're going to get really peeved if you try and do that. So this is about locus of control, locus of control, circle of control and influence. So I'm just going to grab my whiteboard for you now. Here's one I made earlier. So what we have here in the middle of the splat is all of the things that you can control. So maintaining a positive attitude, managing your own social distance, wearing a mask if you want to or you need to, and of course don't get narky about those who are unable to, because not everybody can for medical conditions. Turning off the news so you're not getting bad news bombarding you all the time, because that can really raise your anxieties. And after all, bad news is what sells best. So ultimately you're going to be getting negative messages through the news most, if not all, of the time. Maybe limit your social media, so not focusing too much on comparing yourself to others, especially if you're feeling on a low ebb at that point in time. Remember that people are always doing their best to project their best selves when it comes to social media. And we can't live like that all the time. We don't have the energy to do so. Finding fun things to do. So this is about maintaining yourself and your resilience. So you're like a battery. If you're running down, you kind of need topping up again before you can perform fully. And of course, being kind to yourself and others. And this kind of crosses over with how you respond to other people, and being compassionate to yourself and others too, I should have added. Now over here, things we can't control are outside of this bubble, this little splat shape. So other people's motives and the distance that they're keeping, we can control that for ourselves. We can maneuver ourselves around, but we can't control what other people are going to do. In the same way, we can't control how other people are going to react or how they're going to conduct themselves. We have no idea what is going to happen next, and that can be quite unnerving. It's that fear of the unknown that we all face. That one's difficult to handle. And of course, how long this is going to take to return to some semblance of normality, however that's known on the other side when we come out of it. We, of course, can't control other people's attitudes, but we can understand that they are doing the best with what they have available to them and what they know at the time. And if they had more available to them and were able to know more at that time, then they'd be responding differently. And of course, things like stock levels and the ability to get things based on, for example, finding things in the shops. Number 5 is about preparing yourself in practical ways, and I have touched upon the hand sanitizer and the mask. Now this is a little trick that I learnt the other day, and you get a tissue, normal tissue from a tissue box, and you fold it up like so, so that's in half, and you can either fold it or make a tube shape. This is where I get to look silly. You place it over like that, and this adds some extra sponge padding, and then you put your mask on top, and for a giggle I'm going to try this. Where's the nose bridge? There it is. There's one side, there's the other, glasses over the top. And the idea is that little extra bit of padding, you will probably look as daft as me, but it will work. That little bit of extra padding will help you stop steaming up your glasses quite as much as usual. So you've got a clean tissue, this one's a good one to do. Let's get that lot off again. If you're not as prepared as that, what I found is quite good is this muck-off stuff that I've got from Amazon. You spray that on tissue, not the same one as you do for that, and you wipe the inside and the outside of your glasses. And this is designed for motorcycle helmets, but it hasn't caused any irritation, and it appears to be doing the trick, so that's quite a good one. Number 6 is basically about deciding what kind of things you'd like to keep on doing. So, for example, a load of us may have tried different hobbies. For example, I've been trying being the operative word, I've been trying to learn ukulele and try a bit of Pilates and boxercise and things like that. Different things to keep the energy levels up and the creative side and the mind side going. So if there are certain things that you've been trying out and quite enjoying during lockdown, have a think about how you can still fit those things into your life, because they are there to nurture you. And what I was saying about being like a battery running down and needing to top yourself up, it's those things that nurture you that will help top you up. So, I've been Emma. I hope you've enjoyed this video and at least found something useful out of it. If you have, I encourage you to like and subscribe if you want to hear more of the same. Different themes, of course. And what I will do is I will offer you other videos that you can have a look at as well on this theme. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.